have it set how I want. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to redo the intro. We'll go from there. Welcome, 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 heroes, to the Outlaws Outpost, your unofficial guide to the best Overwatch League team, brought to you by the Surly Nerd Podcast and the official Houston Outlaws supporter group, the Lone Star Vanguard. I'm your host, James, and with me today from the Lone Star Vanguard is Joe, aka Noobatron,
Howdy.
and Jake, aka Tuna.
Hey.
And for those of you new to the show, what the heck is the Outlaws Outpost? Well, it just so happens that our favorite Overwatch League team is the Houston Outlaws, and we have way too much to say about them. So here we are, ready to chat and debate all things Outlaws. This week on the show, it's time to talk about all things Outlaws preseason. It's been a heck of a shakeup for the Outlaws roster. For the last several Overwatch League seasons, the Outlaws have had like a very consistent roster. It was something that kind of bred a sense of familiarity and family almost with us as Outlaws fans. From the former roster, we still kept Dante, and it was revealed a few weeks back that Jake is going to be coming back in kind of a multi-pronged kind of role. So before we go any further, we should take some time to really break down who's on the new roster. And I know, Tuna, you took some detailed notes for us, so why don't you jump in and just introduce the new team to us?
Yeah. We've got kind of an exciting mix-up this year. So right off the bat, the really cool thing that we changed is that we have two tanks straight up from contenders, and they have a lot of previous history. So that's pretty exciting.
Like history together?
Yeah.
Oh,
awesome. So Jangu is our new main tank.
Mm-hmm.
He's replacing Muma. He's from Talon Esports.
Okay.
And so he's got previous chemistry with Piggy,
Mm-hmm.
who's our new off tank. He's replacing Meko. So he's also from Talon Esports.
Okay.
So that's something that we've never had.
Right. So these guys have just spent a lot of time working together then.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
We got Happy, our new hit scan, replacing Linkser. He's from the Guangzhou Charge.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really exciting player, and he has like a lot of pop-off potential. So that's like really exciting because I didn't watch a lot of the Chinese games,
Mm-hmm.
but when I did, Happy was like always popping off.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean,
yeah.
taking Linkser's spot, that's some huge shoes to fill.
Yeah, we all really loved Linkser, so Happy does have big shoes to fill. So KSF, he's coming from Valiant, and so I do think that Jake's going to be mentoring KSF a lot.
Okay.
Probably to be his replacement. A lot of the pictures they post from the team,
Mm-hmm.
KSF and Jake are like always next to each other.
Okay.
So I think Jake coming back as like a mentor, coach, player.
Mm-hmm.
KSF is going to be like his like Padawan.
Interesting. Okay, I like that.
Another interesting thing is that we mixed up with Dallas, the supports. So we got Crimzo. He plays like Zen, Bap, Ana, Moira.
Okay.
And Juby is the wild card. He's like the first. Okay, so he's the first player to be signed from a collegiate team. He was under like the Philly Fusion collegiate team.
Oh, interesting. All right, I didn't know that.
Harrisburg University Storm. And Elk from the Philly Fusion is on that team. He was also on Second Wind, and he plays Brig, Bap, and Lucio.
Interesting. Okay.
So he's a lot of contenders experience, just like Jangu and Piggy.
Okay. Interesting.
That's about it.
Okay, man, that's an interesting, very fascinating roster. I love the fact that we have tanks that are used to working with each other. I've personally watched Happy play and like you were saying, with there being a lot of pop-off potential here. Oh man, absolutely. Like watching like Happy's plays. I mean, just go online and like look at some of those videos. Oh, he's so good, and it is like we were saying, such big shoes to fill with Linkser. But I think we made an excellent choice in that one. Our choices in healers is pretty fascinating, right? The BAP seems to be the common thread between the two, but outside of that, we definitely do have a big range. We're gonna have that Zen. We've got that Moira experience, but we also have Brig and Lucio experience in there. And us Outlaw fans, we are a fan of a good Lucio. Like, if the last season taught us nothing, we do love a good Lucio player.
Yeah, I don't know. So like we only have 2 supports. So if someone like has like a hand injury or like is sick, I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to like sign somebody. What do you think?
Don't forget, we still have Hydration in the lineup.
He
He's
can play
coming
anything.
back, and he is basically the jack of all trades. Right? We saw him play some Lucio with Gladiators. He obviously played a lot of tank for us last season, and apparently, according to the Outlaws Twitter, he is he's going back to the DPS role this season.
Interesting.
So we'll see how that plays out. But I do think that we have. I think having that tank chemistry together is going to be extremely important, considering that you could see that there was obviously some disconnect between Muma and Meko. Maybe there was a language barrier, or maybe it was just play style that we were just took a while to get used to. But having some two tanks that have played with each other and have had success together is important,
right?
Which is huge. It's better than just trying to acquire talent and throwing it on the board, making sure it works out.
I absolutely agree. I mean, synergy is kind of the name of the game when it comes to playing Overwatch, right? Like, this is a game that is not just go out and click heads. It is definitely a game of strategy. It requires a good amount of communication to be played at a high level. And so, we had that kind of synergy back in the early days of the Outlaws. But just kind of as the years have progressed, it got a little bit rougher around the edges, and maybe we weren't making the changes that we need to, or we were making the changes too late, and that synergy kind of started falling by the wayside a little bit. Now, listening to those pickups that Tuna's been telling us about, like having that kind of synergy between players, I feel like we're really going to be getting there this season. And I know that we do a Outlaws specific podcast, but looking at this roster, knowing this information about them now has me really, really excited for the season.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's because of the fact that it's so different is what makes it exciting, right? I mean, the previous 2 seasons, you have all those stakeholder names, right? You had your Jake, Raucus, Linkser, the Dingser, and just anytime you get to see them on stage or in game, you're excited. But let's be honest, with the overall record, the last season and a half, it's one of those things where, okay, like maybe I think it was time that we shook the roster up.
Yeah, absolutely. It was hard as an Outlaws fan to see so much of the team let go, but also as a fan of the team, I had to have that conscious thought of, this is what's best for the team. We need to do this so that we're not in the same place next year.
Absolutely. And, with all this new blood coming in, it's definitely exciting to see, okay, what the potential is, especially, bringing in some contenders players, right? With Piggy.
What a bold choice with that. I love that kind of shakeup.
Yeah. But they have a lot to prove. So, they're going to work hard for it.
I mean, we've seen how that played out for, places like it was the Titans last season that had a bunch of contenders players. I mean, that was rough. They had their initiation, like welcome to the family, kid, and just punched in the face and sent to the wolves. But I think that because we have people from contenders that do have such good synergy like this, it's going to work to our benefit.
And it's also they're coming from Korean contenders. That's a pretty intense league. Well, there's some good players that come out of there.
Absolutely. So now that we know who the new players are, who do we think is going to be leading the Outlaws during this new season, right? Because who's going to be taking that leadership responsibility? I mean, we do have Jake that's coming in, but again, Jake's this multi-pronged approach to, I'm a DPS and I'm going to do the coaching and I'm going to be, all of these things to the Outlaws. He really is kind of the backbone. But do you think in the day-to-day shot calling role, he's going to be the quote unquote leader of the Outlaws?
Yeah, so let's just assume, because Jake obviously coming back as a mentor. Let's take him out. Let's imagine like a game that Jake is not in. Who's going to lead? Is Dante is he vocal? That's what I'm wondering.
I think that's the question that we're trying to figure out, because as far as like I'm trying to think back to the homestand and trying to think back to some of the games. I know that Dante definitely communicates, but was it as as dominant as whenever you had like a Jake or like a Ruckus in there, right?
Right.
Obviously, Jake is coming back, but is already disclosed that he's being to be more of a player coach. Probably won't be in as much.
Here's the thing: without Ruckus, people are gonna have to step up. So like, if you have Ruckus in there and Dante's in there, I think Dante's gonna be like, I get the vibe that it's like, hey, you got this, Ruckus.
Right.
Now that he's not here, it'll be exciting to see. I think Dante will be a shot caller.
Really?
I think so.
That's not a bad choice at all. Like I'm not surprised in a bad way. I'm very much surprised in a good way.
I think Juby is gonna be like really hyped to be here. So I think he's gonna be really vocal and kind of like a wild card.
Right. Yeah, because we also have to see, right? We also have to make sure that we understand that, we don't really know who the starting lineup is at the moment, right? We don't know who's going to be coming in for who or what.
This is all speculation on our parts. We have no insider knowledge of any of this.
I would say, and this is me going out on a limb, that it's I don't think that shot calling is something Dante would want to do, mainly because I mean, if for DPS, you kind of have to be a little focused in on. I mean, definitely calling engagements is one thing, right? But like actually calling out the shots, I'm not sure that you want your DPS doing that, considering that they're more concerned with making sure that they're tracking like the mechanics of the other characters and stuff like that, cooldowns, things of that nature.
So,
but I would imagine it has to be one of our supports. And if I don't know much about Crimzo. Other than he was in Dallas Fuel, and now he's one of ours.
I mean, Crimzo was one of the best things out of the Dallas Fuel. Let's be perfectly honest here. Like Crimzo is really, really good. So
he beat Ruckus in the 1v1 in the Lone Star Showdown.
Yep,
remember that? He kind of blew him out of the water.
It was pretty tight there for a little bit, but he did come back at the end, and I was pretty impressed.
So we can pretty much. So I know we don't know the starting lineup, but we know that it's going to be Django, Piggy, Crimzo, Juby. Because there's no competition with the tanks and the supports. So then you got Dante, Dante is probably going to start a lot.
Dante's
and then you can rotate out Jake, Happy.
I feel like Jake's going to be used very like strategically, like on a per map kind of basis. Like which ones do we want to bring Jake in for?
Yeah, I think Jake's going to play when he's like, put me in. I'm amped. I want to beat this team.
Right.
You would imagine it's Dante Happy, right? Like that's the duo.
I mean, it really does feel like we've been building our roster around Dante, right? He was like the person we kept. Now we build our roster around Dante.
Right. I think so too. I mean, I know Happy is DPS, but Dante is one of the best tracers in the league, right? I think that's a fair statement to make.
Yeah.
But obviously he's like his widow, Hanzo, all that good stuff. That's probably not his forte.
Right.
That's Happy.
I imagine that's where Happy comes in, right? If you, with all fairness to Hydration, I mean, he's a great all around player. He's better than any, like the 90% of all humans on Earth, right?
He's better than all of us, at least.
Right. But
he's better than my mom at Overwatch.
I just don't, I don't see him like in the same light as I do with like a Dante or Happy or like a Jake.
This is also what I thought about Blase last year, though. And Blase fit that Doom role so well. That really surprised me. And Hydration was kind of forced. But, Hydration's never had a chance to really prove his like dominance in the league.
Sure.
So we'll see. He's also a wild card because I'm a little surprised he's on the team.
So what I think what you're saying about Hydration is we've never really got to see him at like his full potential. Like
he's never dominated.
Right.
He's always been like hyped up, but I don't recall him ever dominating.
Right. Interesting. So with all these changes like happening to the roster of the Outlaws, What do we think the team needs to do to kind of keep this sense of like family slash community that they've built up over the last several seasons?
That's a good question.
Because I mean, like there's always the joke, right? Like Outlaws fans are kind of the running gag is we are way too passionate about our team. Like we will be watching the Overwatch League and they will just make fun of us because of how passionate we are for our team.
I think so. And let me chime in with that, and to open up with,
Sure.
how did Outlaws fans get to be how they were? I mean, if you think about it, season 1, you had Jake, Cool Matt, Raucus, Muma, right? All of these incredible NA players who had USA World Cup experience, right? And they're all going to be playing together in one team. Plus, you add in like Finland's gift to esport with Linkser. Like, I mean,
I think he's the world's gift to esports. At
yeah,
this
like
point.
you must be made out of wood if you don't feel anything when they take on the stage, right? Like
Right.
so like obviously having that, and the awesome season 1 that we had, or season 1 stage 1 that we had, right? All that momentum, all that hype was there. So despite the fact that we kind of fell off, right? Just the sheer amount of like, you always knew that spark was there. You knew that they would they could beat the tough teams, but they would lose to
Yeah, how strange was that when we go back and think about it? We
right.
could like if we had to fight the hardest battles, we could come out on top, but then we'd just play like I don't know, the random scrub team and then we
Right,
just
yeah.
get bombed
Like,
horribly.
yeah, you could beat Shock, you could beat Fusion, but you couldn't beat Mayhem.
You're right.
Like what? Season 1 Mayhem, I might add. And so it just kind of that's where the hype comes from. Now, honestly, I think what needs to happen in order for the fans and for everyone to get involved as much as they used to be is we need to see more of them, not necessarily like just, I mean, because content's important, but more importantly, who are they and do they really want to show it, right? Like
Right.
I think the fans and people from Houston, from Texas specifically, they want to see you buy into the team and to the culture, right?
Mhm.
Like we want our players to buy Texan, act Texan, have Texan attitudes, right? Like
Mhm.
show confidence, show that you want to be there and that you want to actually play for the city, not just for yourself. Even though I mean, obviously it is a job, right? But
So what I'm hearing,
I
what I'm hearing is that you want Juby to just like write a bull at some point.
I mean, yeah, show me some, write a bull, right? Like go to the rodeo, record it, do something.
Right.
But one thing's for sure, like, look, and if the guys ever hear this or see this, it's just don't be shy. Like
Mhm.
I know a lot of esports players and just gamers in general are shy folks.
Sure.
Break out of that shell. And I know it's hard, it's not easy, but I mean, you have all the support that you could need. We're here for them, right?
Yeah,
And we
yeah. I
just
mean,
want to,
we're definitely a family unit as Outlaws fans
yeah,
here.
show your
Um,
colors, show your
yeah.
colors,
Yeah, I think it was even was it Crimzo, I think, that made the change. Yeah, from Dallas. And like he was proud, like when the announcement happened. He was like, by the way, leaving Dallas, going to Houston, deuces. And it was like, oh man, the it was beautiful to watch.
But
Um
the
what
thing about Crimso, I just got to add really quickly.
mhm.
Remember, he tried out for the Outlaws
Mm,
before he got picked up by Dallas.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yep, at the time, and there was a segment on it during the Lone Star Showdown last season, in which he wanted to play for the Outlaws,
mhm,
but I think it was Flame at the time told him that he basically wasn't good enough.
mm.
So every time that they played, or that he played against the Outlaws, he took it that much more personally.
Right.
I
So to have him now in the black and green representing
The
H-Town,
thing
it's
that he
gonna be
wants, see, this dials back to what you were just saying about, the question being, how do the new players, join the Outlaws family, right? How do we keep that sense of community? That story is an excellent example of that he wanted to be an outlaw from the beginning, but he was told he wasn't good enough. Now he's going to step into that role and has even more to prove. And I think that the Outlaws are going to embrace him and because of that. Like us as fans.
Did you see what Dante said about Flame?
I did not.
Okay, so Dante basically said when he joined, he just like said this on stream like yesterday, but when he joined the Outlaws, um, and Dante and Flame are talking, and Dante's like, hey, we need some new blood. Who are we gonna get? Like, we're gonna look at contenders, and Flame goes, there's nobody good in contenders, and then Dante's like, what? And so yeah, Dante wasn't happy about that.
Yeah,
and now we have like contenders on our team now for like the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's amazing.
I saw the clip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I don't want to go into kind of any speculation about it. We know as fans of the Outlaws that there's been a really rough management problem that had been going on for some time. But that being said, that's kind of one of the things that make us hopeful going into this next season, right? We're like, hey, maybe everything's ironed out. Maybe we've made the changes both team wise and also internally as well. And we're really crossing our fingers and hoping for that.
Well, the fact that Dante was like, why didn't we do that then? And we're doing it now has me hyped up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good sign.
Yeah,
that's a good sign.
That absolutely is. But Tuna, I didn't get the question answered from you. Like, what do you think our new Outlaws need to do to keep that sense of family and community going?
Okay, so I mean, like, obvious answer, Jake. I know, like, in terms of outreach, I know people are going to see Jake and kind of go back to 2018. Right now, you see the Outlaws will post a picture of the team, and you'll see top comment is like, only person I know is Jake. So like the fact that Jake will be like the common bond between the old squad and this new blood is definitely the obvious answer. But I think the other answer I would think would be Junk Buck, who we haven't really mentioned yet. But apparently he was like the special sauce to San Francisco Shock. And he was working with Krusty, who built like a really good team over there. So I think Junk Buck apparently like he's like a really good at what he does. So that's my answer is Junk Buck. I think will be like the master of puppets. And apparently he's really smart. He's really exciting to have on the team. So I think it's Junk Buck and Jake, I think, are going to build a good family.
It's funny. Here's, I think it's interesting. Thank you for bringing up Junk Buck because you're totally right. We have not talked about him, and we most definitely should. Because he's there, if correct me if I'm wrong, but there isn't a head coach, right? They're both sharing the role, right?
Yeah, let's see.
From my understanding is Harsha's not the head coach. He's going to be like a co-coach. Like they're both the coaches of the team. How does that not get sticky?
And with Jake in there too as like a player coach, it's going to be like this like
if
are you worried? Are you worried they're going to be over managing the team at that point?
Well, I mean, that's why there's a saying. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, right?
It's the language barrier.
For sure. Oh no, I understand that. Yeah, no, I get that.
Two coaches that speak different languages, right?
Right, but who makes the call when it's Game 7? Right, you're going into Game 7. Who's going to make the call? We're running this. Is it Harsha or is it Junk Buck?
I mean, that's a complicated question with a complicated answer, but I feel like by the time the season starts, they should have already had that kind of rapport between the two of them, right? They should
in my mind
who's going to be stepping up and saying something.
See, I understand that, but believe me, like as someone that has played competitive sports their entire life, that is very tough because at some point when the wrong decision is made, subconsciously one person is going to say, well, that's not the decision I would made. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think I know the obvious answer. Well, to me, it's obvious. I don't know. Do you think I have an answer to your question, but who do you?
I would imagine it's Junk Buck.
I'm thinking, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Junk Buck, because Shock, he comes from the Shock that beat the Harsha Titans. I don't know. In my head, it's just like, look, we beat you. I'm in charge, you know? I don't know. But I don't feel like it's going to be like that.
It's like Highlander.
Subconsciously.
It's like Highlander. If you just take him out, then you rise to the new position.
Yeah. But also it's like, I don't know. It's like new blood. It's like, I think in my mind is Junk Buck is number 1 and Harsha will be number 2.
Okay. I can see that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it'll be
So
interesting
game
to see
7,
how
yeah.
it goes. Again, this is all speculation on our parts. We're trying to kind of figure it out and feel it out as we go. I do want to do a quick mention though. Tuna, where did all of our past players end up? I know we've been talking about family and community, and part of having family and community is, looking at all of our favorite players, from the past. Where did everybody go?
Okay, so this is a really good question. So Rappel and Jexy, they went to Fuel,
Mhm.
and I really like Jexy. So that's going to be really interesting
Aren't we
because
starting the season against Dallas?
Yes, we
Yeah.
are.
Holy
And we're starting-
crap.
we're not even starting our season. We're starting the whole Overwatch League season 4. It's going to be Houston
With the Battle of Texas. Wow,
Dallas.
that's a
The
bold
first-
opening.
first game of the year.
Mhm.
That's Friday, April 16th at 7 p.m. Central, right? If am I not mistaken? I'm pretty sure April 16th, 2021,
April 16th.
or is it 15th? I'm checking.
So
So-
two of ours went to Fuel, and we're opening the league with that fight. That's dirty.
Yeah, so Crimzo
Yeah.
switched with them too. And then Boink, I don't know. He's not very active on Twitter, and it still says he's an outlaw, but I don't know. He's been silent. He's been radio silent for a year or two now.
Okay.
Meko is actively looking for a team. His Twitter says looking for team. On December 16th, he said, "I'm looking for team and I want an opportunity." And it's still pinned. He's still unsigned.
I'm hoping somebody will find room for him because Meko is really good.
I hope so, but I mean, like, who's going to pick him up at this point?
It's going to be tough.
Mhm.
It's too late, right? Like,
Well, I mean, there's always the between season swaps that they do, so there's always a chance.
yeah.
Trade
So
window.
this one's exciting. So Blase's on Spitfire,
Mhm.
and he's like one of the 3 DPS on that team. So like
Interesting.
he's gonna see a lot of playtime, right? Because I really liked watching him.
I
He
mean,
was
Blase,
really fun.
he knows how to pop off. Like, I mean, if you
His
watch his
Doomfist is
replays,
insane.
like, holy crap!
Like ever since he started Doomfist, I've been like wanting to play Doomfist.
Mhm.
And I've been playing a lot of Doomfist lately.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, you
I
have.
have a Doomfist account, and I think he'll be really exciting.
Like, I remember
to
watching
watch.
when Blase would be like on the bench, and then they would bring him in, and there's this moment when they're like, "Yeah, we're bringing in Blase," and I was like, "Oh no." They're really mad at the enemy team, aren't they? Like this
Dude,
is about to get dangerous real quick.
Dante Sombro paired with the Blase Doomfist was wow. That was
Chef's kiss. It was so good.
And Dorado, Doomfist, Blase, I'll never forget that. So Muma, let's check in on Muma. He's a contenders coach at the moment.
Okay, that's cool.
Dark mode. And
Interesting.
dark mode. So someone else is on dark mode right now. Let's see.
I feel a little. God, Muma went from arguably being one of the best main tanks in the league in season 1 and early season 2, and I really want to know, what happened with that. Just
Yeah, I
because-
mean, he is the tank that when I play Overwatch, like I use Muma's control setup. Like I actually went online and I was like, what are Muma's like settings? And like that's what I use when I play Reinhardt. So I still honestly in my heart do believe he's one of the best out there. I just wonder what things happened over the last season that
Right.
got him
I-
pushed aside or
personally, I think this is obviously pure speculation. Is I think he just got burned out. I mean,
I could see that.
he was the only main tank that the team had. I feel like hydration stepped up to it. He learned it, but I mean, when you are the go-to for everything, like for 3 whole seasons, man, that's gotta.
I mean,
Okay.
you got the weight of the world on your shoulders.
I-
Plus, you're doing things like the World Cup. I mean, come
Update. So when I took these notes, he was on dark mode, right?
Mhm.
But now, as of the 23rd, he's not on dark mode as a coach.
Mhm.
So Muma's like a full-time streamer, maybe.
on. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and good for him. I mean,
Yeah.
I know he has a lot of fun with his streams. I pop in there from time to time.
Yeah.
I'm subscribed to the Moo crew.
Mhm.
So you could tell that he likes streaming. He's happy there,
Yeah.
and whatever makes him smile.
Absolutely, whatever makes him smile. Have you seen the man smile? It's beautiful.
So I don't know what Muma's really doing right now,
Okay.
other than streaming.
Okay. Who
it
do we
was
got
always
next?
really hard to not make the joke of whenever we met him. Hey, Austin, you're in Austin.
Yep. That
LOL.
it was bad.
So Raucus, he's like a Valorant hotshot now.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Um,
surprise me. Of course,
And he's
he
playing
is.
with like Corey and Baby Bay and
he's back
Zachary.
he's back with his old team, right?
FaZe. I think
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
FaZe,
yeah.
right?
I think that's back from his old team.
hmm
Yeah.
I didn't know he used to be on a FaZe team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think he left FaZe to come to the OWL, and now he's back with them.
And so Spree kind of been radio silent too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Last I heard, he was back in Europe,
Mhm.
and he was like really hyped about starting his own business.
Yeah.
I know he's kind
like
of
mental health business, like mental
he's
health
like
business.
he's like a fitness
Mm.
buff. But it's been a while since I've heard from him. But he was like,
If ever
Yeah.
there was somebody that would get me into shape, it would probably be Spree.
So Linkser,
Mhm.
Linkser's on the Titans now.
Okay.
And he's the only name that I recognize on the Titans.
Mhm. Well, I mean, they
So-
had a pretty rough season last year.
So yeah. So like if we were a Titans podcast,
Mhm.
we'd be talking about Linkser as our leader because he's like the only. I mean, I'd need to do more research on them, but the only name I recognized was Linkser.
Mhm.
So he should probably get a lot of playing time too. So like I like to watch almost all the teams. So like Blase, Spitfire, and Linkser on the Titans. And I also want to watch Valorant too, but I'm having a hard time really getting into that, especially with
It's
COVID and all
understandable.
that.
Yeah, it's totally understandable.
But yes, I'm excited for Linkser, Blase, and Jexy. All those three.
So, how do we feel about the current or our new Outlaws roster going into the new season? I mean, we've talked about who they are. We know what their positions are. Like, how comfortable do we feel saying like, "Hey, we're going to come in swinging this week"? I mean, it's easy for us as fans to fanboy over it, right? And go, "Oh yeah, we're totally just going to like dominate everybody." But like, I mean, we take a serious look at this roster and say like, is this an upgrade? Is this an improvement? Is this what Houston needs to dominate everybody else? Especially with us our opening weekend playing against Dallas.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm afraid of Dallas.
Mhm.
They have they
Yeah.
have Sparkle, Rappel, Jexy, Doa. Like they're stacked.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dallas is stacked.
Dallas is like the most exciting they've ever been. They were really boring last year.
Which nobody has ever said that about anything in Dallas ever.
yeah. And they have Eggsy who popped off in Eternal, like he with Paris. So obviously Hanbin too. Hanbin's pretty good. He has a lot of experience. So they are they're stacked. My honest expectation is I really don't have one. I'm
Okay.
gonna watch the games. I'm gonna
Oh
root
my
for 'em.
god.
But
We play
after-
Shock second the game of the year.
Oh
Yeah, we're-
no.
Yeah.
Wow, what a brutal start for us.
Shock doesn't have Moth anymore though.
Hmm.
they don't have Moth. Yeah.
And,
But
and we will talk about Shock here in a second, but let's continue talking about the current Outlaws roster.
yeah, I don't have an honestly.
Yeah, let's talk about Shock soon.
I don't have an expectation. I hope they do well. I'm gonna be rooting for them. But I don't know.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I didn't see a lot of Piggy, Juby and KSF. Like obviously was with Valiant and stuff, but it's a brand new team. It's tough. It's tough. Like
It's the contenders like new blood that I'm really excited to see, and with previous synergy, really excited for that.
Mhm.
No.
But who knows?
I think so. I personally, in my heart of hearts, want to just be like, yes, we're going to do so well this season, and my basis for that is not just pure speculation and fanboyism. It's that I feel like the Outlaws have something to prove, and I think they're going to be going into this season with that mindset. We have something to absolutely prove to the rest of the OWL. We are tired of being the butt of jokes in the Overwatch League. It's time to come in and it's time to start swinging.
I feel like everyone has something to prove.
Mhm.
San Francisco wants to go for 3. Philly is tired of being like, a choke in the playoffs.
Mhm.
New York is tired of like not making it to the playoffs.
Sure.
Dallas is
also-
tired of being Dallas,
Well, I mean, when you're Dallas, what do you do at that point?
So as far as that goes,
And Seoul
it-
lost the finals. Like, yeah,
some of
new.
you have you might have known that like a lot of the slogan for the Outlaws lately has been all in. I have an explanation behind
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
However, I'm not going to spoil it because the next episode we will be talking to someone that will be able to explain it 10 times better than I can, who is part of the
Ooh,
Outlaws organization.
Look at you dropping these little like tidbits to keep people coming back to our show.
So if you want to find out about that and a little bit more about what James Bindi is talking about, you're gonna have to catch us next week as we have someone from the Outlaws coming on the show talking to us.
Excellent. So as we start to wind the show down, let's get into just a few general like Overwatch League questions for the panel. So like first up, given the nature of esports with new games coming out all the time, do we honestly think that the Overwatch League still has what it takes to really lead the pack on viewership?
Oh boy, Tuna, you wanna go
Viewership is a
first?
tough one.
Because I mean, we all know just as fans that move to YouTube really that affected some stuff.
It changed. I mean, it changed everything. Like, it brought in a lot of money. It brought people to YouTube, but a lot of people stayed back on Twitch. So it's interesting, and that's a long-term deal. And it's a different culture on YouTube. It's completely different. But Twitch had viewers. Twitch had numbers, good numbers, 100,000 viewers, like pretty much every stream. But the chat was just absolutely horrible. I remember they would break up the free chat and the paid chat, and you had to pay to see paid chat, obviously. So free chat was just this cesspool of just like terrible like hate. It was just horrible. And I actually like messaged like Nate Nanzer at the time, and I was like, can you do something about free chat? Because it's just a terrible place. So the good and the bad, the numbers have gone down, but the good is that like that toxic culture, it kind of stayed behind on Twitch. So YouTube chat now is pretty wholesome. Not as active, but it's not toxic, and that's really important to me.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's the good and the bad.
Yeah, I will say that is the one thing where YouTube chat is definitely a lot slower. It's not as active. The numbers probably aren't as great just because the crowd didn't transition as much. I've moderated a handful of Outlaws events on YouTube, and the bot does everything.
Look at you name dropping in here.
Well, I'm active.
Like I've moderated some things in my day.
Yeah, like I
anything in my
don't,
life.
I don't have a job to do. Like I'm paying attention to it, but before I can even react, bot takes care of it. And people are, Tuna nailed it. On YouTube are generally a lot nicer. They're not as toxic. There might be one or two, but it's not terrible.
Twitch chat, Overwatch League free chat it was a horrible idea. What they should have done, which was really upsetting, was they should have made you like pay to talk in chat, along with the other benefits, because people were paying. I paid, the second year, not the first year. That was $40 for the year. No, $15 was a good price. What they should have done is had that chat be the main chat, and then if you paid, you could talk. But they did it so there's a free chat, and it was just a bunch of degenerates, and it was horrible. I remember watching it, and I was like, "This is just disgusting." It was really bad.
But yeah, why don't they just throw in an emote only? Anyways,
yeah.
I mean it's hard to discuss like how they can come back and really lead the pack on viewership. I think they had decent numbers last year. I think it's going to be a lot based around the personalities of the Overwatch League. And I'm not trying to put too much on the players with this, but I think there is something to be said for keeping that hype train going, especially because right now we've got so many teams that are distant from their home location. And it's hard to keep that connection going when, a team is whatever team and then they're working out of Korea.
Well, the thing is,
yeah.
Remember, they also the article that just popped up not long ago about how, for the time being, Activision Blizzard is taking a step back away from live events. Rightfully so. We're still in the middle of a pandemic, so that is understandable.
A lot of layoffs.
Yeah.
But that big, 50 people, 50 plus people are being laid off.
And more.
I think Backpack Matt
Yeah.
is still around. He's
Okay.
kind of a really cool personality.
Obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with them. We wish them the best. They gave us an awesome product, and we're all here because of them. But I mean, it makes it hard.
Yeah.
It makes it hard, especially even as a fan, to be invested. Like, we want to watch.
No, I totally understand. I mean, I didn't go to the homestand events. I always had a lot of stuff going on, and it was always one of those. I'll get it next time, right? Like I'll see it next time. I want to go. I'm hyped to go, but I'll see it next time. I'm just really busy right now. And then the pandemic happens, and I'm like, well, I'm never going to say that again. Like the first moment you give me an opportunity to go to a live event, I'm absolutely going to.
I remember asking you, "Hey, are you sure you don't want to go?" And you said, "No, I'll catch the one in August."
Yep, that's exactly what I said.
Here we are a year later.
So when they announced the New York Grand Finals in like 2018, I woke up that morning to like the post popping up on Reddit or something, and it was like Grand Finals announced in New York City, Barclays. And I woke up that morning and I was like, I should just book a flight to New York and go. So like before I went to work, I booked a flight to New York like that morning. Like the day they announced it, the day I booked a flight. I don't know why. It was just like a calling. And I did it. And it was like the best weekend of my life. And now that like everything is shut down, I'm so happy I went. And I told everybody in our crew, like, please, you have to go to the grand finals. And everyone's like, yeah, I'll go one day. And like now it's like kind of like an interesting time, because if you took advantage of things, it was really exciting. Like Houston homestand.
I watched the videos of all y'all out there.
The
It was
Houston
what a party.
homestand was so freaking amazing. It was so fun, and I'm so ready for that to come back. And there was that thing Golden Boy posted. I know what you're talking about, Noob, where it was like Overwatch League is not going to be a live focus anymore. But then at the top of that article, and Leafy called me out on it, and it was like, no, that's not true. Overwatch League will be live again when the time is right.
Right.
But
scary article, very scary article.
Yes.
I freaked out.
And so it's one of those things where the article stated that they will.
Also, what
eventually,
site was that? It wasn't like ESPN. It was like
it was
esports.
It was esports insider.
Yeah.
Moral story. The whole moral story though is the thing is Overwatch League will not be the juggernaut that it was unless they bring live events back.
Okay, I can see that.
Overwatch 2 will make a big deal.
Yeah, I think it's gonna make a huge splash, right? But
so Minecraft came back. I was just watching that Minecraft video that the eScore did or whatever. eScore, the esports channel. They did a Minecraft video about how, and the whole point is that Minecraft was huge and it kind of dipped, right? And I remember thinking, like, remember Minecraft? And then it came back like within the last couple of years. And Overwatch will like come back with Overwatch 2. It'll be a full force comeback. 100%.
Okay. So we have one more just general Overwatch League related question as we start to wrap up the show. Because I have to know, do we actually think as a panel here that the Shock have the potential to bring home a third win?
Oh yeah.
Really? Yeah. You were bold in that answer. You're like, yeah, they could absolutely do that.
100%. They got rid of Moth and then they replaced him with FD God, who's so exciting to watch. Super's hungry because Super's gonna retire after this season. Okay. And he wants to get the 3-peat. Their symmetry, their chemistry is so good. And they got Twilight from that Titans breakup. Striker, Violet, Smurf, who was basically on our team, except we traded him for Dante. And they got Nero, who's they're stacked, and they know they're the best. And Super is just, I don't know. They're gonna be tough to beat.
It's hard, right? I mean,
it could be better than last year, to be honest.
Ooh,
what if Junkbuck was so good at what he did that we just like dominate like they did, and Shock just can't win a game?
That would be so good. I mean, we'll find out pretty soon because apparently we're playing against the Shock.
We're playing them like game 2. That's actually really exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. That's a really like a straight up like DPS check for us. Like, do
And
we have what it takes to like really push up against the big?
You
it brings up a
want
lot
to
of
know
questions.
something? Is I have insider information that I
You gonna
want to
leak
answer
it?
your question.
You gonna leak it? You gonna leak it?
I don't want to leak it
We
because
can
if I
edit it
do
out.
leak
We can edit it out.
No, let's not bring in the insider information. But
because
but
let's
just
just put it
leak it.
this way.
Just leak it. What are they gonna do? Sue you?
well, I would like.
Did you sign an NDA? Did you sign the NDA?
I would like for them to come on the show, please.
I think we'll be okay.
Is your John Hancock on an NDA, noob?
It's
yeah,
not.
I think that
Dude, leak it.
I think
No.
that the
All
Shock
right, no, it's fine.
have a lot of
We'll be-
potential
we'll be
to
fine.
bring home a third win, but I think that people are going to be gunning for them even harder now because I mean, obviously, every team, if you're in a league, you want to win, but like there is that three-peat looming over everybody's head, and so it's almost like this band of brothers of all the other teams of like we have to shut them down.
So
yeah, but you can do that. You can want that all you want, but if you're not good enough, you're not gonna do it.
That's
no,
true.
I think it's more of like I'm scared as hell of that team because the Tom Brady effect is crazy. Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers, who were like 9-7, and like all these news stories are coming out about how that team was just like, oh my God, we have Tom Brady. Like we can actually win now. And Tom Brady's pretty good, but it's more about like his leadership. And so the fact that they've won 2 championships and people are gonna be scared of them.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
People are gonna be scared of them. They're probably gonna go to the grand finals again.
I mean, I could definitely see that, but here's hoping that we're the ones going to the grand finals this year. So.
Fusion got better. Fusion got Rascal. Fusion's stacked right now.
Yeah, Fusion is pretty stacked.
Yeah, Fusion has always been one of those teams that, man, like they're so fun to watch. I know that the Fusion has always had some great series with the Outlaws as well. God, the was it London
Soul Dynasty wants revenge too.
Was it London and Fusion season 1 in the final? Right, that was. Am I correct in remembering that?
Wait, no, season 1 grand finals.
Season 1 grand finals was that
was
not
Philly
London?
and London?
Yeah,
and London
stomped,
is
right?
a shadow of itself. Wait, who? So yeah, I mean, on paper, Philly got stomped, but in reality, I mean, Philly held their own. It's just like Profit and Gesture are just too good.
That is true. That is absolutely true. All right. Well, that's everything we have for this week's episode of the Outlaws Outpost. Panel, it's plug time. Where can everybody find y'all online?
Wants to go first?
Yeah, go first, noob.
Okay, cool. You can find me on Twitter at NoobatronPrime. I don't post often on my main account. I'm too busy running other things. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter, or I also stream from time to time. Twitch.tv/NoobatronPrime. I play a lot of Overwatch when I stream, or I'll play some Guild Wars, or I'll do some community nights. So find me on there or on Twitter.
Yeah, and I mean, this is an ample time to plug the LSV. So is there a place they can go to find out more about who the Lone Star Vanguard is?
Yep. Actually, you can head on over to lsv.gg. We have our small little, very simple website on there, giving you some information about who we are, what we do, what we're about. It also has some links to some articles that have been written about us and about what we have done over the last 3 years. And if you would like to know more, or would like to come on over and hang out, go on over to lsv.gg/join. That will link you to our Discord. We have over 600 active members on there from all over the world. We have people from Europe, all over the United States, Canada, South America, Mexico, all over the place.
You know what I like about the LSV is that it's like, it's active, but it's not too active. Like you don't get like 1,000 pings per second of just random BS.
Unless you're going to play Among Us, and then everybody's like, hey, where's everybody at?
Yeah, but once you start playing, we stop.
I'm kidding.
You know?
I'm kidding.
What about you, Tuna? Do you want to plug anything?
Let's see. I'm most proud of my Instagram because I'm good at taking iPhone pictures.
Mhm.
It's kind of like the Polaroid of the new generation. So like, it's Jake. It's like Jake the Mooney with underscore. So Jake underscore the underscore Mooney
Mhm.
Mooney. I post really cool pictures on Instagram, and then
You
I have a link
absolutely
to
do.
my
Vouch. Yep.
I have a link to my gamer Instagram, which is just it's not as good as my main Instagram, but I'm active there. And then I stream for one viewer on Twitch. So if you want to be my second viewer, it's Tunavi. So it's Tunavi underscore OW. Tunavi OW. Or no, am I just Tunavi on Twitch? I don't even know my.
You don't
I
even
don't
know your own handles,
Dude,
Tuna.
this is why I have 2 viewers or 1 viewer.
This
I'm
would
about to have
exactly
2
be it.
viewers. Just Tunavi, Tuna, whatever you want to call me. Yeah. My Instagram is lit. My Twitch is. I just bought my first. So this is my new webcam. This backdrop is going to get better. I don't actually. You know what? Fuck it. How could this backdrop get any better?
It's
2
pretty
Pachi
cute.
Maris. We got Snorkel Mari. We've got Pachi Mari, and we've got Hammond. Okay, and we got an LED in my bathroom.
All right.
Can't get any better than that.
Well, if you
But-
want to send us your love for the Outlaws to read on air, you can send anything that you want us to tell the Outlaws on air over to thesurlynerd@gmail.com. And while you're at it, you can also check out my main show, The Surly Nerd. It's a weekly nerd news roundup. We are a very fact-based show. We don't comment too much about rumor and speculation. We are on any podcast provider, and we're also on Spotify. So we'd really appreciate if you come over there, give us a like, give us a share. It really would mean the world to us. And until next week, everybody, is there anything you have 1 second to say anything you want to say? Tuna, Noob, go.
I still love Overwatch in 2021. I still love it. There are dozens of us.
There are dozens of us.
Join the Discord.
All right. Until next week, heroes, good night and good game.
Bye, everybody.
That was awesome. That was fun.